As we enter the last week of February, Jill and I wish we could have hosted an in-person Black History Month celebration here at the White House. It would have been one of the most meaningful events to start our administration. But we've still been honoring this month in different ways. You know, the show of Black History Month is Americans' history. Black culture is America's culture. And we're in America because of the centuries of struggles and achievements of Black Americans. But we know this month falls after an especially hard year. The pandemic and economic crisis that is devastating Black lives, businesses, and communities. There's a cry for justice 400 years in the making. And while we saw more Americans, more Black Americans vote this past election than ever before, we are just over a month away from the deadly insurrection against the very democracy by extremists and white supremacists. We remain in a battle for the soul of America, on an ongoing journey to live up to our founding principles. That all people are created equal and have a right to be treated equally. You all know for much too long we've allowed a narrow, cramped view of our promise to fester. It's just festered and keeps festering. But to become a zero-sum game, that's what's happened. If you succeed, I fail. If I get ahead, you fall behind. If I hold you down, I lift myself up. But that's changing. It's going to change in our administration. We're bringing to our work a seriousness of purpose and urgency. We'll work to dismantle systemic racism across the board by advancing racial equity across the whole of government, in healthcare, education, housing, economic mobility, environmental justice, civil rights, and our justice system itself. Protecting the sacred right to vote that remains under attack, and beating this pandemic and economic crisis with equity at the heart of our response. You know, we do so not only because it's the right thing to do, which it is, but because it's the smart thing to do. It benefits everyone. The work ahead won't be easy, but I know we can do it by honoring those who came before us, by following those leading us today. This month, alongside our first Black Vice President, our first Black Secretary of Defense, I walked down the hallway of the Pentagon that long honors the history of Black Americans, fighting for this country with honor, dignity, and devotion, Congressional Medal winners. We follow them today. I also visit at the Vaccine Research Center at the National Institute of Health, at the so-called NIH, where brilliant scientists develop COVID-19 vaccines. I met Dr. Kizzy Corbett, she's one of the most influential people in this process. She's a hero. She's saving millions of lives with a vaccine that is safe and that can save your life and the life of your loved ones when it's your turn to take it. We follow her today and honor her. You know, at the COVID-19 memorial, the day before the inauguration, I met Lori Key, a nurse from Detroit who sang a hymn she sings to lift up her fellow healthcare workers, Amazing Grace. And we follow all of our amazing frontline workers today and praise them. And on Inauguration Day, we'll all listen to Amanda Gorman deliver a powerful, powerful words about America. Quote, "A country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. That's America. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things." And that's who we honor during Black History Month, and each and every day, by commemoration and also by action.
Every year during Black History Month, we take time to remember and honor those who came before. The visionaries, the innovators, the barrier breakers, the history makers. Those who were clear-eyed about the moment in which they lived. Those who told the truth about what they saw. Those who worked to build a better future, a future unburdened by what had been. And I am grateful for them, today and every day. And I know we all are, because they have left us a legacy and also a job to do. After all, history is a relay race, with each generation passing the baton to the next. The baton is now in our hands, and what matters now is how well we run our portion of the race. That's what I've been thinking about this year as we endure this devastating pandemic. Because here's the truth about the moment we're in. More than 2 in 3 Black Americans personally know someone who has been hospitalized or who has died from COVID-19. Black women workers are being forced out of the workforce in record numbers. So many Black small businesses are being forced to close their doors. This pandemic has been an accelerator in many ways, and our response to the pandemic has shown the determination and aspiration of the American people. Dr. Kizzy Corbett, a Black scientist, helped develop the vaccine that is saving lives at this very moment. I met Dr. Corbett at the National Institutes of Health, also known as NIH, during our second week in office, just before I received my second shot. I was so honored to thank her on behalf of our nation. President Biden and I have been working hard to pass the American Rescue Plan so that every American can get vaccinated, so that every American small business can receive the support they need, so that every American woman worker can get back to work. Friends, the challenges we face are big, and because of that, so is our collective responsibility as we combat this pandemic and restore our economy. We all must do everything we can, whether that's wearing a mask or getting vaccinated or urging your members of Congress to pass the American Rescue Plan. I believe that if we are clear-eyed, if we are truth tellers, if we are courageous, we can meet this moment. So this Black History Month, let us honor history and let us make it too. The baton is in our hands. Thank you. And may God bless you and your family, and may God bless America.